So we're at the time of the year where high school basketball is getting that little bit more hyped, where people are starting to watch a lot more college basketball, more people are starting to make mock drafts and talk about that, and also even predict who's going to be the mock draft a year down the line, who's going to be drafted in the year of 2021, which is kind of crazy. But the thing is that a lot of the time you guys are looking at these high school prospects, a lot of the time people are just wrong. Scouts are wrong, and that happens. That's life. Hindsight is 2020, and a lot of people look back at these type of players afterwards and look at all the reasons why they weren't successful, and look back at the scouts being like, how did they not notice this? Well, sometimes they're just wrong. And this is one of those players. It is Trevon Duval, who used to play for Duke, who was one of the top high school players in the nation a couple of years ago. And he actually went undrafted in 2018 NBA draft and has only played 6 NBA minutes. And honestly, that could be it. That could be it for his NBA career. But before we get on to talking more about why this has been the case, I'd just like to say we are doing a daily December. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We are going to be uploading one video every single day this month. And I know 90% of you guys are subscribers that are watching these videos, but we are trying to hit 110,000 subscribers. So if you are new to the channel, don't be afraid to subscribe and leave a like. But anyway, now let's get on to the video. So Trevon Duval was the #1 point guard in the 2017 class. He was actually the #5 recruit by 24/7 Sports. He was #4 recruit by ESPN, #3 by Rivals, and #3 by Scout. He was a 5-star recruit by by literally every single recruiting service, and he was seen as a guaranteed first round pick in the 2018 draft and a presumed lottery pick before he ended up going undrafted, which is kind of crazy. But as a sophomore, he led his team to a 31-6 record, and in his junior year, he dominated on a team with fellow NBA player Terrence Ferguson. However, his senior year, he transferred to IMG Academy, where he was their best player, averaging 16.1 points and 7.5 assists per game, and leading the team to a 26-2 record. He was a McDonald's All-American and took part in the Jordan Brand Classic. However, after he declared to Duke, things obviously didn't really work out from there. While he was not bad at Duke, he was kind of the 4th player on their team after Wendell Carter Jr., Marvin Bagley, and Grayson Allen. They also had Gary Trent Jr. The other 4 obviously were drafted in the 2018 NBA draft. After they got knocked out of the tournament, he declared for the draft. And prior to that, every single Duke player that was one and done declared for the draft after the freshman year. Every single one got drafted. The only one that hasn't was Trevon. And there's a big reason for that. So while his stats were not bad at all in college, he averaged 10 points a game, averaged a decent amount of assists, was actually the 4th highest total assists by a Duke freshman in history. However, there was one big problem with his game. He couldn't shoot. He shot 29% from 3. And while he still was the athletic phenom that people saw in high school, they realized that while he couldn't shoot, he also didn't do anything else at an unbelievably high level. Whereas guys like Westbrook and stuff that can't really shoot, these guys are absolute freak athletes. He's not that level of an athlete. He also wasn't an elite playmaker, turned the ball over a lot, wasn't careful with the ball. And for that reason, he ended up going undrafted. However, he was signed to a 2-way contract by the Milwaukee Bucks, and a lot of people thought that once he got into an NBA team that there was no chance that he was going to flop out of that it was just a fluke that he wasn't drafted, and that eventually he was going to become an NBA player. However, even from the start in the G League, he was struggling. He started 21 of his 39 games for the Milwaukee Bucks G League team, averaging 12.5 points per game, which you might think is not bad. But then you realize he shot 24% from 3 on nearly 4 attempts a game, and shot 42% from the field, and averaged 3.4 assists and 2.5 turnovers. So almost as many turnovers as assists. For a point guard is not great, especially a point guard that straight up can't shoot. So he has one glaring weakness in his shot, and they noticed he had a weakness in his carelessness with the ball, and his playmaking skills were not spectacular. And then this year was even worse. He was waived by Milwaukee, picked up by the Houston Rockets, and ended up being the 5th pick in the G League draft by the Iowa Wolves. And this year has been even worse. After last season, struggling in the G League, and then also only playing in 6 total NBA minutes, this season in 7 G League games, he's not even starting. He's only playing 13 minutes a game, averaging 7 points in the G League. This is a league where Anthony Bennett has dominated, so nobody's going from averaging them type of numbers to an NBA roster, while also shooting literally 25% from 3. 25%. He's shooting a little bit better from the field, but he's also averaging 1.7 turnovers to 1.4 assists a game. He's averaging more turnovers than assists for a point guard. So, honestly, this is a guy that, while he had everything going for him in high school, the fact that he wasn't an elite playmaker, an elite passer, and also the fact that he couldn't shoot really worked against him. With the two of those things together, realistically, he was never going to make it in the NBA. He was dominant in high school. He was actually quite good in college, but he's just not good enough. And also, he's got so many glaring weaknesses. If you can't shoot and your defender can completely step off you like they can with Duval, because unlike even people like Lonzo Ball, where if you give Lonzo 8 feet of space, he's probably going to hit the shot. Duval's jump shot is broken. Everything that could be wrong with his jump shot is wrong. He points 10 feet or 10 toes towards the basket, which, just think about it with the darts analogy, you never tell a darts player to do it, and their job is to literally throw it straight, so obviously that's going to affect you shooting the ball straight. He releases the ball in a really weird position. He's a 2-motion shooter, doesn't jump on his shot, no sweep and sway at all in his shot, doesn't dip the ball. For rhythm, there is everything that could be wrong, and his offhand completely pushes his shot and throws it offline. Everything that could be wrong with his jump shot is wrong with his jump shot, and that needs to be completely torn down. However, do I think he has a pro basketball career? Without question. You see all the weaknesses that means that he's not an NBA player. Obviously, they're going to affect him everywhere, but his strengths will mean that he could dominate in a lot of leagues overseas. Like, he would be a legitimate top league player in most countries in Europe. There's a good chance he could be playing in one of the top leagues in Europe and playing right now in one of those leagues. Would he be an absolutely dominant force there in one of the top leagues? Probably not, but he probably could make it. In the lower leagues, can absolutely dominate. And he sure as hell will be making a lot more money than he's currently making right now on a G League salary. However, obviously going overseas, he might look at it as a step backwards and a step away from making the NBA, which I'm guessing is his ultimate goal. But let's be real, unless he completely tears down his jump shot and completely changes that, that's not going to happen. His, obviously, carelessness with the ball, that can get better. But if you're as bad at shooting as he is, honestly, there's not much of a future in the NBA. There's a reason why teams, less and less non-shooters, are making NBA rosters, especially at the guard position, like he is. But there is no question about it. He's a fantastic basketball player, but just not NBA level because of a few major flaws. But anyway, that's the video. This is pretty much what I've seen from watching him play over the years, and why I believe that he's not in the NBA now, and also why I think that those 6 minutes in the NBA he got last season are probably the last 6 minutes he'll ever play in the NBA. Unless there's a team that are completely tanking and they think, oh, remember this guy was really good in high school, let's just give him a shot. Like teams have constantly done with Bruno Caboclo over the years, hoping that they can be the ones that turn him into an NBA player. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.